Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies video. So the other day I talked about this giant monster that can be found roaming around the woods of the Maschine, and today I want to post an update to that and explain exactly what this creature is. Now first things first, I have managed to get my own footage of this which I'll play for you guys right now. Now the weird thing is in order to actually activate this giant monster that kind of resembles Bigfoot, people are getting different results. Within my game, it would only show up once I had gotten to round 45 and then I went within the dark ether and then immediately my screen started shaking and you could hear the creature stomping. However, I have seen from some other people that they have seen this giant creature in just the regular version of the map. For example, the footage that you can see on screen right now is from a channel called Moving that I will leave a link to their channel down in this video's description. Now I am led to believe that this is a glitch and it's only supposed to show up within the dark ether as far as I am aware, and I have also seen it show up for people under round 45 but above round 40. However, for the most part, most people are just getting it once they've gotten to round 45 the first time they enter the dark ether via one of the anomalies. So yeah, I believe that's the proper way to activate this, is just getting to round 45 and entering the dark ether, and for some weird reason it's activating for other people via a different method, whether it's a glitch or maybe there's alternate ways, I'm not entirely sure. Now since recording this video, this giant creature showed up for me on round 18 within the normal version of the map as well, and I was trying to record the free gold weapon upgrade in which required me to keep on entering the dark ether, so I'm wondering if there are two different ways to see this giant monster. Maybe one way is you just have to go within the dark ether a certain number of times and then it will show up on the regular version of the map, and maybe another way is you have to go to round 40 plus and then enter the dark ether and you will see him in there. I'm not entirely sure. As I was saying, people are getting different results, but regardless of how you actually activate it, what is the creature itself? Because this is the most interesting thing. Well, a huge shout out to Advanced, and I will leave a link to their channel and Twitter down in this video's description. They managed to actually glitch out of the map to get an up close look at this creature, and this monster appears to be made out of roots and tree branches. You can see that one of their arms is a lot bigger than the other and they are colossal in size, and a lot of people were speculating in my video that I made the other day that what if this is the Origins robot. Well, now you know for 100% certainty that this is not the Origins robot. But yeah, I believe, as I was saying earlier, it's only supposed to show up within the dark ether. And like I talked about earlier, there is some dark ether intel within the game that talks about these giant creatures. You do see from the footage that the creature knocks over trees, it just decimates everything within its path. Anyways, the intel we have reads, Day 1 646, saw something new today, saw something big, tall as building, walking through fog, difficult to see details, kept my distance as it passed. I heard some talk from others that giants roam this land and dismissed it as madness. Heard one of them call them elder gods. Thought I catalogued all creatures here and their pecking order. I was wrong. So yes, this creature appears to be an elder god, which I'll talk about more in a second. But as you guys know, there is another Easter egg that I have posted a guide on how to activate on my channel, where you can get this giant hand to break through this door. And this giant hand we now know to be a hand of the the same species, the Elder Gods, because the hand is exactly the same as this giant creature in the distance, just as I had predicted. Now that we have up close footage, we can clearly see that the hand is of the same creature. Now the thing is, if we remember back to the old Aether storyline, the Elder Gods were the giant apothecans. But as you guys know, on Tag de Toten, the duality was resolved and the Keepers and the Apothecans, Dr. Monty, and also the Shadow Man merged back together as one to create the first one, and then everything from the old storyline, the Aether storyline, was sent into the Dark Aether. But the Dark Aether is corrupting absolutely everything, and stuff is starting to merge together. For example, we see that the Wonder Fizz machine has merged with Juggernog and Speed Cola. The Dark Aether is essentially deteriorating everything, and it seems to have created a new version of the Elder Gods, but they are now this giant tree creature. But the interesting thing about the intel is, as I was saying, there are a bunch of people that were sent into the Dark Aether. So there's a bunch of lost souls now trapped within the Dark Aether, and we do hear from some intel within the game. They talk about how everyone that has been sent into the Dark Aether is starting to corrupt. There's one woman that is starting to grow long nails and an alligator face, and within the Dark Aether it appears as though there is some kind of hierarchy. So the zombies are basically the lowest of the rank, and it appears as though these Elder Gods, these giant creatures, are one of the higher ranks, but they all seem to be commanded by some sort of greater power, albeit a god. And I am wondering if this god is in fact the first one itself, Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man recombined. We do have the quote on the staircase of Nagdaronto saying the accursed one will rise again. So the first one is trying to break free from the Dark Aether, but it mentions a curse, so I don't think it's going to be the original first one, because it started to corrupt again, just as Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man had corrupted within the old storyline. The first one is similarly corrupting once again. There are also quotes within the intel that talks about all of these lost souls within the Dark Aether chanting to some sort of higher power, a god, and I believe that to be the first one. I think it is trying to escape from the Dark Aether, and it's trying to use everyone within the Dark Aether as pawns to escape. And as I was saying, there does appear to be some sort of hierarchy, and I'm excited to see how this plays out within the DLC season. Now, I would place a bet that we are probably going to see these giant creatures as a boss within a future DLC map. Maybe they will resemble the Origins robots, where they just roam around the map and they work in pretty much the exact same way. And I am also wondering if we will actually go within the Dark Aether permanently within one of the DLC maps. On the Maschine, we can obviously temporarily go into the Dark Aether, but I'm wondering if one of the maps within the DLC is fully set within the Dark Aether. Maybe that's where we will encounter these creatures, maybe within the DLC 4 map or the last map, depending on how many DLC maps we receive. And maybe it could even be the final boss, or maybe the first one will be the final boss. But we do see loads of weird creatures on the graffiti. For example, we do see this devil-like creature. We see two of them actually that appear to be different from one another, and I'm wondering if that is the first one, or maybe it's just another creature within the Dark Aether, because the Dark Aether is basically like hell. A lot of the people that have been trapped there talk about it as if it is hell, and everything within there is demented and is corrupting and is bleeding into one another. And I don't think these creatures are the only creatures in the Dark Aether. There are a bunch that we are bound to see. Now the thing is, I think I have figured out what these giant creatures are based off of. So as you guys know, the Apothecans and the Keepers were largely based off of the Cthulhu mythos by H.P. Lovecraft, and it does appear that the Black Ops Cold War Zombies storyline appears to be heavily inspired by Stranger Things. That similarity is also heavily inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's lore. Well, there is one creature within the Lovecraftian lore called Aelith, which you can see on screen right now, otherwise known as the Widow in the Woods or the Many Mother. It's a tall, shadowy, humanoid entity with glowing yellow eyes and branch-like protrusions, and I'm wondering what if this is what the creature is based off of. Obviously it doesn't look exactly the same, but as you guys know, the Magwas were based off of Shrub Niggurath, which looks very different to it, but it looks kind of similar. And also the Shadow Man was based off of Nyarlathotep, which was a shape-shifting manipulative creature similar to the Shadow Man. And once again, it doesn't look exactly like the Shadow Man, but we can definitely see where the inspirations came from. So I'm wondering if, like I was saying, this time around these Elder Gods were based off of this tree creature. Now there is a calling card within the game as well that appears to once again show some sort of massive giant monster, and it kind of resembles a devil once again. I think this is the creature that we do see on the graffiti on the Maschine, so I think that we will probably see this within a future DLC map as well. Also, the background really resembles Vietnam. It appears to be in some sort of jungle, so I'm wondering if this is the Vietnam map that's rumored to be a DLC map. But yeah, there is so much stuff to talk about here. There are so many dark creatures within the Dark Aether, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out within the DLC. I do want to talk more about this, but honestly, I'll end up rambling for ages, so I'm just going to close off this video now. Like I've talked about in prior videos, I will be talking about, you know, my theories and stuff like that as to where we will be heading within the DLC in a future video, because there are so many clues already within the game. But yeah, I'm really excited to see all of these dark creatures within the Dark Aether and these weird monsters. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not for the latest and greatest Cold War Zombies news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.